The airplane trembled softly as it cut through the night sky, but that wasn't what made Alina Morgan freeze. What shook her was the moment she jolted awake and realized her head, her entire weight, had been resting on the shoulder of the stranger beside her. A stranger who wasn't just asleep, but holding a little girl in his arms, his own body clearly exhausted. Alina, the famously unshakable CEO who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, suddenly found herself speechless, staring at the man whose quiet strength felt more comforting than any luxury she'd ever known. The hum of the engines felt distant as she took in the scene she had unknowingly become part of. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that change hearts, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Tale. Your support keeps these stories alive. Alina tried to straighten herself discreetly, but the man stirred, blinking his tired eyes open. His daughter, no older than 4, slept soundly against his chest, her tiny fingers gripping his shirt as if afraid the world might take him away. Alina felt an unexpected ache in her heart at the sight. Everything about him, the worn-out hoodie, the messy hair, the deep dark circles under his eyes, told a story she couldn't read yet, but she felt it immediately. This wasn't someone running away from something. This was someone running towards something or someone with everything he had left. The flight attendants dimmed the lights, and the plane settled into a quiet lull, but Alina's mind didn't. She kept stealing glances at the man, wondering what life must be like for someone carrying so much in silence. She was used to polished boardrooms, rehearsed pitches, and calculated risks. But there was something raw, unfiltered, almost painfully human about the way this man held his daughter, like she was the only thing keeping him anchored to the world. And maybe she was. The turbulence grew stronger and the little girl stirred, her tiny whimper slicing through the quiet. The father instantly tightened his arms around her, whispering something soft, smoothing her hair with trembling fingers. Alina noticed that trembling. It wasn't fear of flying, it was exhaustion. The kind that stacks higher than any skyscraper she owned. The kind you can't outsource or delegate. The kind you carry alone. As the child finally drifted back to sleep, Alina saw the man slump against the seat, his breathing uneven. His eyes rolled slightly before he steadied himself. That was when she noticed he hadn't eaten anything since the flight began. Her first instinct, the CEO instinct, kicked in. Identify the problem, find a solution. But what startled her was how deeply she wanted to help. Not because of pity or obligation, but because something inside her recognized a different kind of strength in him. A resilience she didn't know she admired until now. Hours passed, and Alina finally opened her laptop, attempting to distract herself with work. But the spreadsheet blurred as she watched the rise and fall of the little girl's breathing. She noticed her socks had holes, her hair was unevenly cut, and her backpack looked like it had been patched several times. Something wasn't just off, it was painful. Alina felt a heaviness she wasn't prepared for. When the announcement came that the plane would be delayed on landing due to a storm, she heard the father let out a quiet, frustrated exhale. It wasn't anger, it was fear. Real, helpless fear. He checked his watch repeatedly, his jaw tightening each time. Alina pretended not to notice, but her chest tightened with every glance he stole at the time. Something important was waiting on the ground. Something he couldn't afford to be late for. She didn't say a word, but her mind raced through 1,000 possibilities. Court hearings, custody meetings, medical appointments. The story behind his eyes was unraveling silently, piece by piece, and she felt herself pulled deeper into it. When the plane finally landed, chaos erupted as passengers scrambled to make up for lost time. Alina watched as the father gently woke his daughter, whispering reassurances even though panic flickered behind his eyes. He gathered their worn-out bags, and Alina saw the strap rip slightly under the strain. Her heart clenched. She exited beside him, unable to walk away despite having no reason to stay. Something inside refused to let the moment end like this. As they stepped into the airport, she finally heard him speak softly to his daughter. His voice was tired but tender, promising they would make it in time. And then she understood. He wasn't late for a meeting. He was late for a life-changing battle. At the security line, his bag spilled open, revealing a stack of legal papers with words like custody appeal and hearing rescheduled printed across the top. Alina stood frozen. The man's hand trembled as he stuffed them back inside, his panic rising. His daughter clung to him, wide-eyed and confused. Alina felt something inside her break. Everything made sense now, the exhaustion, the fear, the urgency. He was fighting for his child, and life, as it often did, wasn't fighting fair. Without thinking, Alina stepped closer. Not as a CEO, not as someone used to fixing things with money or power, but as someone who finally understood what it meant to carry pain quietly. She asked him where he needed to go, and when he answered, voice cracking with shame, she felt the air shift. She didn't stop to question herself. She used her influence to help, to clear the path ahead, to give him time he never would have had. Hours later, she waited in the hallway outside the courtroom, unsure why her heart pounded so heavily. She told herself she was just making sure they were okay, but deep down she knew it was more. The little girl peeked from the doorway, offering Alina a shy, sleepy smile that felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. When the father finally stepped out, tears in his eyes and victory in his trembling smile, Alina felt her throat tighten. He didn't need to say anything. She could read everything in his face: gratitude, relief, hope, a hope she had helped restore. That moment shifted something inside them both. Two strangers on a flight, brought together by accident, now standing in a moment that felt like fate correcting itself. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Tale. Your support means more than you know. Before the ending, please comment below. Do you believe one small act of kindness can change someone's entire life? And as Alina watched the father scoop his daughter into his arms, spinning her gently despite his exhaustion, she realized that sometimes life puts strangers in our path not by chance, but because they are carrying a weight we were meant to help lift. And in lifting theirs, we often discover how heavy our own has been.